Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on how to remotely assess and hire developers using live coding interview. Uh, in a live coding environment, hiring managers can assess the logic skills of candidates, ask them questions about their approach to the coding problem, and all this can be done in real time. I'm Neha, I'm the product marketing manager at iMocha, and with me I have Vishal, who heads the engineering at iMocha and who would also be taking us through the demo of live coding interview. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. However, you can post your questions anytime during the webinar by using the Q&A option at the bottom of your screens. Over to you, Vishal.
Thanks, Nia. So good morning, good evening, depending on where you're taking this webinar from. And I hope you're safe and sound. And again, from wherever you're taking this webinar from, everyone is healthy in your family. So let's start with that particular hope. So the webinar, again, as Nia said, is we are going to talk about remotely assess and hire developers using the live coding interview platform. So let's start. So let's start with a quick agenda. So we'll talk about the traditional ways of hiring, right? So that we would be what is something that we would start with. Then again, we are all aware of the COVID situation and we are all living in a new normal. So we'll talk about the new normal and how it impacts the remote hiring as well. We'll talk about a live coding interview platform. And the next thing is that how our new platform helps us hire. So we'll stress more on this fourth point. We'll move to a quick demo and then I'll try to make sure that I give enough time for the question and answers, because I'm sure that there'll be some interesting questions that will be coming up in this particular webinar. So let's quickly deep dive into the traditional ways of hiring. So the traditional way, right? I mean, initial HR screening happens in some companies, some organizations, a technical telephonic round might happen. In some companies, directly they might invite all the candidates for an online proctored assessment. Once the shortlisting is done from either of this or both of these particular rounds, we go to the candidate visits the premise. There might be an additional on-premise online coding assessment just in case the organization only conducted a technical telephonic round, but they wanted to see a online coding assessment. So the candidate on the premises is made to sit in a room and do an online coding assessment. Everything goes fine, and then there are additional interviewers that join, and there is a whiteboarding round. There might be a multiple whiteboarding rounds depending on company to company. After that, the technical assessment, whichever has been conducted, right, the whiteboarding or the on-premises online coding assessment, all the technical results of that are captured. Then the feedback from all the interviews is captured, and then the HR round happens, right? Now, prior to COVID, everything was fine. There was no lockdown. People could travel freely. People had no concerns about going to premises of the organizations and everything. Everything was working fine. And then COVID happened. So COVID happened, and then we had to get into the new normal, which is again the initial HR screening stays, the technical telephonic also would stay, the online proctored assessment stays. What changes is basically the candidate coming for at the company's premise, giving an on-premise online coding assessment, giving the giving the whiteboarding sessions to different interviewers, right? And then the HR round. And mostly what happens is that since all the interviewers might not be available in a traditional approach, maybe in some cases the candidate used to come again to the premises on a next day or in that particular week, right? But with the COVID, it's no longer possible, right? Even when we are seeing that some of the countries, some of the places are opening up, still there is always a concern in the candidate's mind that what if the organization, the workplace is not sanitized enough? Should I actually go for an actual interview, right? Should I go for an on-premise interview or not? So that concern still stays. right? So this is the new normal that at least at iMocha we are following, and I guess most of the 90% of the organizations are getting into the new normal. So we'll talk about what is the live coding interview that the block represents over here. So what is live coding interview? It's a new platform. It's a new platform for enabling remote interviews for candidates. The candidate can be anywhere in the world. The interviewers can be anywhere in the world. The HR who schedules the interview can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter, right? So it's remote. It's secure because we are hosted on Microsoft Azure, and we ensure that our platform is secured. No, I mean, only those people who are supposed to be accessing that interview reports or actually be part of the interviews are able to join that particular interview. We have a 99.99% availability. We support 1 candidate plus 3 interviewers. We support 16 coding languages. We have a pre-built question bank with multiple difficulty levels, easy, medium, hard. We have a language of choice. So we'll see that in the demo. We'll see that in the presentation also when I say what is the language of choice. When I say language of choice, that the candidate can give his coding interview in any of the 16 coding languages that are supported. We have a real-time code sync. Whatever the candidate types is visible real-time to all the different interviewers that are part of that panel. We have an option of compile and run, so it doesn't stay with that the candidate is writing the code. We also have an support to compile and run the code that the candidate has written, okay, with multiple default test cases that can be run during that particular compilation. We also have a support for custom test case input. So for example, there are different test cases that are already pre-built into the system. But what if an interviewer, for example, wants to ensure that a particular specific boundary condition is also checked? So that is also a possibility in the platform. There's a possibility, there is a support of interview rating being captured during the interview. So we don't have to wait for the interview to get over and then the feedbacks are collected, they go to the HR and everything, right? Just before ending the session or while the interview is going on, if the interviewer does not just wants to ensure that he doesn't forget anything, he can start writing the interview rating and everything. And of course, before the ending of the session, he can always change it and save it. We have a report after the interview is completed. There is a report with all the coding answer details also, which the candidate attempted, right, with the test cases and everything, and with the feedback coming from the interviewers. And then there is, of course, a final score that is based on the ratings of different interviewers. We have a video chat. We'll see that in the demo. And we have a text chat. The text chat is also available just in case there is a problem with a bandwidth of a candidate or an interviewer. We can always shift from video chat to text chat. Maybe there is a problem with the mic. Maybe there is a problem with the bandwidth. So we can always move to the text chat. And there are additional features. There is also a strong roadmap, a strong pipeline for the live coding interview, and we'll talk about that as well. So I just want to share a success story, guys, over here, right? So Devanshu Nikhare, why I'm highlighting Devanshu Nikhare over is because he's our youngest team member to be hired through the live coding interview platform. We launched the live coding interview platform on 20th of July. And Devanshu joined us on 20th of August. So this particular webinar would be focused on how the journey of Devanshu through our live coding platform happened, and was it a success story or not, that you guys can decide, right? Devanshu had just a simple statement to talk about a live coding interview platform after the interview. The platform was comfortable, and that is what we love to hear from him. So a typical scenario, Utkarsha, our HR, Amay, Sujit, Nilesh. Sujit is the CTO and co-founder of InterviewMocha, now iMocha. Amay and Nilesh are the technical leads, and I'm the head of engineering at iMocha. So typically we are the interview panels, right? Now, due to COVID, again, there are certain people that are in Surat, there are certain people that are in Nasik, there are certain people that are in Pune, right? And Devanshu was in Nagpur. Now the distance between Surat and Nagpur is 1,153 kilometers, right? But this was our local hiring, right? Within India, within, I mean, at the max 1,153 kilometers. But in actual, it can cross the Atlantic, it can cross the Pacific, it can cross the Indian Ocean also. And I'm proud to say that no candidates or interviewers were exposed to COVID during this interview. Moving further, so this was the process, right? We scheduled the interview. So this was done through our app platform. We scheduled the interview with Devanshu as the candidate. I was the primary interviewer, right? We had additional interviews, Amay and Sujit, right? After the invitation was sent, the interview schedule is seen over here, right? We got Devanshu, the candidate, as well as the interviewers get an email, which you see over here, right? Then the day of the interview arrived. On the day of the interview, unfortunately, Sujit had a client call, an important client call, so Sujit could not join, right? So what we had to do is that we just had to share this link from the interview platform itself, live coding interview platform itself, to a backup interviewer. And Nilesh had a heads up that this might happen. And we just had to share the link to Nilesh, and Nilesh joined. Then Devanshu joined, Amay joined, we started with the interview, right? So on an ideal scenario, we talk about introductions and everything. So that happened, right? We talked about, since Devanshu is a fresher, we tried to make him comfortable. We asked him about his college times and his family and all those things to make him comfortable. And then when we started with this particular first question, right? Our first question to him was that, guys, Devanshu, we are hiring you for a .NET developer position, but we do not care whether you know .NET, we know C# or not. What we care is that, are you at least proficient in one language of your choice? And Devanshu was happy, and he said that, yeah, so I do not know C# because I was never taught the same, and also I never did a course on .NET. So we were okay with that. I mean, then we just told him is that whenever you're starting your coding, actual coding, just change the language of choice from whatever language you see right now to Java, and he did that. So there's an option, there's a confirmation that comes in that whether you really want to change it, and then he changed it. Now, since Devanshu was a fresher, we started with an easy question, right? So he was given a question on string manipulations, counting vowels, very simple thing, right? But also we wanted to check whether even with a simple problem statement like this, right, how creative a candidate can be. Because you can copy a code from the internet and then you by heart the code and you come to the interview and write it. But again, we wanted to see more creative stuff in this particular problem statement answer. Okay, so let's move forward, and I'll tell you what kind of creativity we saw from Devanshu over here. So Devanshu wrote a code, okay, and then he clicked on compile and run. Okay, once he clicked on compile and run, okay, he found that the expected output is 9, the actual output is 8. So we brainstormed with Devanshu. We told Devanshu that, why do you think that this failed? I mean, your code looks perfect, right? I mean, everything looks perfect and everything. So what went wrong? So he took a minute. We gave him a minute, and then he went into the sample input. He saw that it is a very pleasant morning. Everything looks fine, but I is capital in that the first word, right? So what we did is that before he started changing the code, we asked him that what are the different alternatives for solving this particular problem. And then he gave 2 alternatives. One alternative was that you can always convert the input string to completely lowercase or completely uppercase. And then you can compare with, in your if condition, you can always compare with that particular case. So we were happy that most of the candidates, we thought that might go into making the OR condition more complex. Like, for example, if you see A, E, I, O, U in smaller case, they will also add A, E, I, O, U in uppercase. But we were happy that Devanshu didn't do that. Devanshu actually changed the code to sample input dot to lowercase, and then he checked everything in lowercase only. So we were really happy that I I think 50% of the battle was won for Devanshu at this moment of time. What we did further is we checked with him, that we checked his confidence also. We told him that this sample input and test case and everything is fine, but do you think before you click compile and run, do you think that your code will run with this particular custom input that we are putting over here? So we just added, after it is a very pleasant morning at 9 a.m. and we also changed the cases a bit, right? We made pleasant uppercase. We changed it to completely uppercase and then to capital A and similar other changes. And he was confident that it will run. And then we let him click on the compile and run, right? He compiled and run, the actual output was 9. And we were happy that he has this confidence in his own code. Moving forward, that was not enough for us. Okay, so if condition, for example, everyone can write it, we asked Devanshu, is there another way of writing this particular code, another way of writing this logic? And we were happy again to see that he just started writing the code. I mean, he just commented out his earlier code, right? And he just converted that code into switch statement. The code looks much more simpler, much more readable, much more easier to understand and everything. And then for us, it was, I mean, see, again, this is a quick glimpse of the interview, right? There were multiple other questions that we asked him, but we were really happy with this. Now, as I told you in the start of this particular presentation, right, that Devanshu comes from is a fresher, right? So we started with the easy question. Now we wanted to check the adaptability of the abilities of Devanshu. Okay, before we go to that, I just had a quick poll on LinkedIn. A candidate during live coding interview is progressing well with the programming logic. However, they are stuck on syntax. Would you? And then I think there are 3% brave guys that say, watch them struggle. We ourselves might come in to give them an indirect clue. That is where we were giving an indirect clue to Devanshu wherever he was stuck. But no problem in also helping them with the exact syntax, because in actual real life also, a candidate is using an ID, right? So there is an IntelliSense, there is an autocomplete and everything. And there is always Google to help him out with stuck syntax. He doesn't have to by heart everything, right? So this is a quick poll, and I think you all guys will agree with this particular poll, except for the 3% guys. Maybe there's no one that represents that particular bucket of watch them struggle. But I'm happy that at least some people think that they should struggle. Maybe they struggle themselves during their interviews, and that's why this particular option selection. But anyways, this was a good poll. Moving forward further to what I was talking about, right? We adapted to Devanshu's abilities. So we started with the easy question, right? If you see over here, the question 1 was a string manipulation question. We asked him that seemed to be easy for you. How about we go for a more complex one? And Devanshu was happy that we are moving to some new question, and which is much more difficult. So we went to our question bank and we selected, instead of easy, we selected the assigned difficulty as hard, and we picked up this question on stacks and queues. And again, Devanshu did a wonderful job with answering this particular question as well, right? So again, I would say from 50%, 70% battle was won, because we checked the coding ability, we checked the problem solving, we checked how he participated in the brainstorming, we checked his confidence level in his own code, right? So everything was fine. Now we wanted to check his communication. So we went ahead and we said, guys, leave aside coding for some time. Now tell me about your achievements. And then we maximized the video screen because we did not want to see the coding editor as such, right? Nothing was relevant for us. So we just wanted to see the maximized screens. And this was, I think this was early morning. So then Devanshu started with what he did in college, right? I mean, he started with how he led the football tournament in his college. How is being a captain is also helping him in his day-to-day programming life, and how he intends to use the leadership skills also, being a perfect employee for IMOCA. So this is what all he talked about, and we were happy about this, that the communication is well. The video never glitched, the video was all fine and everything. And then there was a slight problem, I think, in the internet connectivity issue. So we unfortunately had to move from, even Amay had a problem because Amay was not able to connect to the session due to the bandwidth. He's in Nasik, right? And Devanshu being in Nagpur also had some problems. So it was okay. We switched to the text chat. So he just mentioned over here, hi sir, I'm not able to connect to a video call. So we said that it's okay. We had done most of the video interview. We had done most of the coding interview. So rest of the things we talked about on the text chat. So the decision was almost made, I would say, at least in my mind. So then we asked Devanshu to leave the interview. Everything was done from our side. I gave my interview, so this is my interview. So code quality was good, code optimization was good, problem solving was good, code design was good, and technical communication was good. So additional feedback I gave him because I want this additional feedback also to be seen by Nilesh and Amay in the reports and also the HR, right? So I put whatever I could, and then I submitted my rating, and then I ended the session. And then in parallel, Amay and Nilesh also gave their own ratings for Devanshu, and I was pretty sure that everything would be good, and then it was actually good, right? So Devanshu scored 70%. Guys, this is a fabricated report because we don't want we respect privacy, so we don't want to show Devanshu's report to anyone. So this is a fabricated report, and Devanshu is aware of that. So he scored 70%. This was the feedback. This was the score. This was the average and everything, right? And I thought, I mean, we made a decision. I mean, looking at this particular score and everything, looking at the feedback from everyone, we had made a decision. And Devanshu joined us on 20th of August. So now I think the journey is done. We'll go to a quick demo. Now, I would have liked to have a full-fledged demo, but I know that if the Zoom audio is going on, and then live coding, live interview, also the audio video is going on, there might be a possibility of some echoes and everything. So I'll try to have a restricted demo. So I'll just stop my share for a minute, and I'll move to the live coding platform, and then I'll share again. Neha, are you able to see my screen again?
Yes, Vishal.
Okay. So I just clicked on the link, right? I mean, this was the schedule. I just clicked on the invitation. I'm entering the live interview platform. So I gave my name, I gave my email address. The interview code was auto-populated. I'm joining the interview. And if you hear a echo, just let me know. Okay, I'll stop my, I'll mute my live coding interview platform so that the echo is not seen. But anyways, we'll see how it goes.
Sure, Vishal.
So this is the screen, guys. This is the coding editor. This is the question panel. This is the text chat window. This is where you give the interview rating, right? And this is where the candidate can select the language of choice. Now, once I enter, the text chat panel is open by default. I click on the start video interview to start the video, right? I'll do that. And I'm sure that Amay, Nilesh, and the candidate Devanshu is waiting for us in the interview. So let me just click on this. So guys, I'll mute from here. Hi Nilesh, hi Amay. Neha, can you hear Nilesh and Amay?
No, Vishal.
Okay, so I'll just stop my share again. I'll just share my screen again, and this time I'll select share computer sound, and I'll share. Hi, Devanshu.
Hi, sir.
Okay, great. So, guys, Devanshu, we talked a lot about you during the webinar.
Vishal, there's an echo.
Okay, there's an echo.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, you can mute yourself, Devanshu, Nilesh, and Amey.
Okay.
Okay. Is there still an echo, Neha?
No, Vishal, this is fine now.
Okay, great. So this is the coding editor. As I said, this is the language of the choice, the language choice that the candidate can make from here, right? This is where I start adding a question. And in case I have a problem with the video chat, I can always move to the text chat. I can move this at any particular place, right? If I want to zoom, I can always maximize. This is how I look. I'll minimize it, right? And so, for example, I can type over here also, hi everyone. Okay, and it's real time. Everyone sees the chat real time. The video is real time. And then I add a question, like I said, right? I mean, we started with a simple question. So I have three difficulties level: easy, medium, and hard. So let's say I start with the easy thing, right? I give the same, because this is not a real interview, guys. So I'll make it as fabricated as possible, right? So I selected this question: string manipulation, counting vowels. And then this particular question panel is seen to Nilesh, is seen to Amey, and it's seen to Devanshu also. And then Devanshu can always go and select his language of choice. So Devanshu, you can choose your own language of choice over here, just as a demo.
So I'm choosing Java.
Okay, that's good. And you can mute yourself, Devanshu.
Yeah, sure.
So just when Devanshu changed the language of choice from C to Java, you'll see that it was also reflected on my coding editor. Okay, and then Devanshu starts solving the problem. Neha, do we have enough time for Devanshu to attempt a small code, or should we stress on Q&A more?
Vishal, we can do a quick one.
Okay, so Devanshu, maybe you can write a quick code. And Devanshu, don't worry, it's not a real interview. Devanshu, you can just check one condition, that is fine. And it will also show the test case failure also. So you can just put one condition so that we stress more on the Q&A. Yeah, I think those conditions are fine. Good. Okay. That's great, given Devanshu. If you think that your code is right, you can always click on compile and run. Okay, that's fine. We wrote a shorter question, shorter condition. So that is fine. We just wanted to show how the compile and run works and how the code editor is synchronized. So that's good. I'll just show guys addition of a question. So one question is already seen to all the interviewers. I'm just adding one more question, which is from the medium question bank. And then I click on this. And the second question, yes, switch screen, because it's asking me because this question panel is going to change now. So switching the current section screen might affect the candidate's response. That is fine because he has already written the code. I'm okay with that. And I put yes. And it says you're now on question 2. Now question 2 is a medium question. I'll not ask again Devanshu to solve it because that is not the intention over here. But this time let's say for example, Devanshu instead of Java, he also has a proficiency in one more language and he can always choose something else, Python, and solve this particular problem, right? Once this is done, right? Once the coding editor, coding and everything is done, we can always get on a, I can always maximize the video. We can chat. Devanshu can talk more. Devanshu can ask questions to us on what is the roadmap of iMocha, what is his role at iMocha and everything, right? So everything is done. We can ask Devanshu to leave. So maybe Devanshu can leave now. Me, Amay, and Nilesh will discuss about the interview and everything, and our HR will let you know. So let's say Devanshu leaves, right? What we do is that we go into interview rating. Okay, so he's leaving. We go into the interview rating. I think that code quality was good for Devanshu. Code optimization could have been better. Let's say just as an example, problem solving was good. Code design was okay. Technical communication was great. Awesome candidate. Okay, I save the rating. I also asked Nilesh and Amay to give the rating so that I can leave the session. Or sorry, because Nilesh is the host interviewer, the Nilesh can end the session after Amay and he completes the rating, and then we can all leave and we can take a look at the report. So Nilesh, Amay, can you give the rating? And Nilesh, can you end the session once that is done? Okay, so the host has ended the session. The session is done, right? Now we go to the, I'm happy with the interview. I'm happy with the platform, right? So great platform. I submit the feedback. And then the recruiter or I, let's say, for example, go to the interview results. So the report is being generated. This was the earlier report. So again, it was a fabricated report. So I just go to view report. And I view the report for Devanshu. the feedback coming from all the interviewers, the average rating that we got, and the overall percentage and the performance category. So based on this particular performance categories, he is an experienced candidate for, I mean, he has shown experience proficiency in our interview, and that is where we hire him. So guys, this was a quick demo of the live coding interview. I guess the presentation conveyed the theoretical aspects on what is the possibility, and the demo showed you the actual things that are possible, the look and feel of the platform. Now I think we can move to the Q&A. Neha, I think we can start with the Q&A now.
Okay, Vishal. So Vishal, there is one question from Jiten. So Jiten is asking, while discussing the design-based questions, so can we have like a whiteboard or a scratch pad?
That's a very good question. So we launched this particular product on 20th of July. What we thought is that it's important to start with, because we didn't want to wait for a long time, because our clients needed us. Our clients needed a platform, right? And then we had a choice to make whether we launched the live coding interview, or we launched the live platform with a whiteboard capability. So we thought that since a majority of our clients are using coding in the whiteboarding, so we decided to launch it with the live coding interview, and the whiteboarding is part of the roadmap, and it will be available soon.
Okay. Vishal, Sam has asked, so the coding questions that you showed us, so who selects these questions?
Okay, so we have a team of experts that think that what is the best set of questions that will be applicable for a live coding interview, because still it is a limited time, right? And it's not only that it's a one-way street, right? The candidate is not solving the question. There might be certain questions that can arise. The questions also that are selected have a possibility of brainstorming. The questions that are selected have multiple types of answers possible, right? So these questions are chosen based on whether a brainstorming check is possible, whether an alternate check is possible, whether we actually can check the candidate's problem-solving abilities in those questions. So these questions are very carefully chosen.
Okay. All right. Next is can the candidates write the code in their ID and paste it in the code editor?
As of now, we have not enabled that particular feature. But if there is a particular client that thinks that it needs to be done, it can be a possibility. But the other reason why we have not allowed the copying pasting from the ID is that we don't want to pressurize the candidate a lot also. So if you looked at the code which was seen when the question was added, right, there was a set of code stuff that was already available.
Yeah.
Now we don't want the candidate to spend time on getting the input or printing the output kind of thing, because we want the candidate to focus more on the problem solving and the actual core of the logic. And
Yes.
if you move to the ID, then basically it will not be compatible as of now, right? But we can make it. If there is a request that was coming in, and if it is coming from multiple clients, for example, and we think it's important, we can always include it. It's not a big deal for us.
Sure. Also, when we conduct this video interview, so when we schedule it, it's like a time limit, and will like the interview stop after the time limit has expired?
Okay, that's another good question, because when you saw the screenshot of the interview scheduling, right, there
Yeah.
was a time limit. So the time limit is mainly, as of now, at least it's mainly for the candidate to know that what he can expect. I mean, how much time he has to set aside for this interview. Later on, we might get into a subscription-based model, which might be based on the duration also allowed of the interview. But for now, since the live coding interview is just launched, we are not putting any particular time limit on the duration, as of now, at least.
All right. Also, the link that you created for the interview, the same link, will it be used for other candidates, or that is just like a one-time use?
No, this is specifically for that interview session. So it is only available for that candidate and for the interviews that I shared the link with. Of course, if one particular interviewer cannot join, I can always copy that link and share it with another interviewer that I personally know, right? But only one candidate can join at a time. So there cannot be an abuse that somebody else joins that particular link.
All right. Harry is asking, since this is an online coding editor, so what are the features that are available for the developers?
Okay, so that's okay. So if I could not show you much about the IntelliSense, so we have a autocomplete feature available. We have auto bracket completion, right? The candidate can always move between a dark theme and a light theme. The candidate can move from a normal editor to an Emacs editor, for example, right? Apart from that, you saw the color syntaxing, right? It for keywords, it uses a specific syntax, sorry, color syntax. For constancies, uses a particular color for, and for the rest of the code, it uses a different code, different color, right? So whichever candidates are, let's say, have been used to, let's say, IDs and everything, and will not miss the autocomplete feature over here. So we have the autocomplete and everything.
Okay. Vishal, Jiten is again asking that can we schedule multiple coding interview rounds with the same candidate?
Yeah, we can surely do that. I mean, but again, it's a different altogether a new interview session, right? We cannot once the host interview ends the session, the link is expired because and the report is generated, so that link cannot be used again. Of course, if you want to have another coding round with the same candidate, we have to schedule another interview session.
Okay. Another question from Sheetal. So she's asking that, what is the frequency of the question revision? Like, do we update the questions like on a weekly or a monthly basis, or the coding questions that you showed?
Okay, that's a very very interesting question because even in our current coding, in our current skills assessment platform, right? A team of experts, based on the feedback that we receive from the clients, based on the feedback that we receive from the candidates, right? They always keep on changing the difficulty levels of the questions, or if they think that this question is not correct or has a grammatical issue, for example, there is a lot of QA that is done, right, in our current skills assessment platform. And the questions are changed, the questions are replaced, new content is added. And the same thing would be done for the live coding interview question bank also. So depending on the feedback that is coming in, right? So if, for example, during the interviewer thinks that this question does not really check the problem solving capabilities of a candidate, he sends us the feedback. We will surely check that out and will replace the question in the question bank. And in the future roadmap, we'll also have an option of reporting a problem that we have a capability of reporting a problem while the candidate is taking a test. Okay, that he can report a particular question that it's incorrect or it's not clearly understood kind of thing, or there is ambiguity. And the same features would be added to the live coding platform also. So the interviewers as well as the candidate can always report a problem. And this goes to the feedback team of us, the QA team of us, and they take an immediate action on such questions. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, Vishal.
Right.
Vishal, another question is, Sam says that he has a lot of SQL skills for like evaluation. So can we use a platform for SQL evaluation?
Okay. So if Sam had asked me this question, or if this demo would have been after, let's say, 15 days odd, right? I would have definitely said that, yeah, it's in the system right now. But as of now, it's under progress because the other languages, right? I mean, when you talk about Java, Python, and the other languages, they have a completely different need when it shows up on the live interview platform. For SQLite, it's a bit different. Yeah, but the work is in progress. The SQLite is already supported in our regular skills assessment platform. And it's a matter of just integrating that particular thing because we use a database, we use a customized database to run the SQLs again, right? Against. So all this integration is in progress, and we would have this live in September.
Okay. One question is somebody has asked how is like live coding interview helpful when you're hiring like an expert with more than 4 years of experience?
Okay. So in that case, again, guys, again, I think Neha, the interviewer's experience also would come into picture.
Yeah.
The choice of the question. So I don't think we can ask the same questions that we asked to Devanshu being a fresher to a candidate who has 4 years of experience, right? So we have to the interviewer would have to choose those questions from the hard question bank. Even when the hard question bank is chosen, they have to make sure that they also ask for additional alternatives kind of thing. They can go into the space complexity, they can get into the time complexity discussion. They can ask what will be the time complexity of this particular solution, right? Something of those questions. Or maybe they can even ask that if I give you 1 hour of time, for example, right, to write the same solution, what additional enhancements that you can do in this particular answer. Because limited time, limited solution, right? But when the time is more, then of course the candidate can get a better algorithm for that same for that same problem statement. So with 4 years of above experience, I think the interviewer's experience should cover all these things. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, Vishal. So Vishal, another question is the entire like live coding interview, the entire thing is recorded and can we see it later in the reports?
Okay, so as of now, we are not persisting the video. We are not persisting the chat for a long time. We are persisting the chat only for that session, so that if a person leaves the chat and leaves the session and comes back to the session, he should see the chat. The code is persisted, so the code answers and everything can be shown in the reports as well.
All right. Vishal, another quick question. So, if the candidate has not started the video and the session is going on and you can see the questions and everything, like if they try to find the answer on the internet or any other device, so can the interviewers know about that?
See, as of now, we are not doing a plagiarism check, for example. In the future roadmap, but we might not start with the live coding interview. We might start with the plagiarism check in our online skills assessment platform. And once we have a confidence that the plagiarism is doing a good job over there, we might also integrate into the live coding interview platform. So it's more of an integration that would be remaining at that particular point of time. Yeah, but without the video, for example, if the candidate is doing that, then the only way possible to check is the plagiarism.
All right. Vishal, can the coding problems or the coding questions, can those be customized based on the organization's need so that they have their own set of question bank?
Okay, that's again another interesting question. So as of now, we believe in our experts. I'm not saying that we do not believe in the experts coming from the organizations, but since, as I said, right in the start of your one of your questions, is that we choose these questions with a lot of thought process. Our experts put a lot of knowledge, experience in those choosing of that and making those choice of the questions to make the interview session as efficient as possible. Okay, and that's the reason that we are not opening up the question bank for customization. But again, guys, rules are met. Rules are, created. Rules are broken. I'm not. I mean, in this terms, it's not a rule breaking. But in some cases, if the client always comes back to us and says that he wants to add additional questions in his question bank, for example, we do support a service, as you know, right? We have an assessment as a service, right? So wherein our experts can work with the organizations and create more questions and add it to the question bank for live coding interview. So that is that is always possible.
And for the coding problem, so what is the difficulty level that we have currently, and is that applicable for all experience levels?
Okay, so how we choose the difficulty. So I'll try to answer that question with how we choose to decide on the easy, medium, and difficult, the hard difficulty level, right?
Yeah.
So let's say a question contributor, as per his years of experience and knowledge, can come up with a particular rating that this is medium, this is hard, and this is easy. But what we do is that we do a learning. based on the attempts. So based on the attempts, if you think that a particular easy question, hard question was answered by 90% of the people, right? We don't think it's hard. So we change the difficulty index internally from hard to medium. And then if 200 attempts are happening without any person actually feeling that particular question, then we might also change it to easy. Similarly, if there's an easy question, right? And we see that not even 5% are able to solve it, or maybe 10%, right? So all these are thresholds. I cannot give out the thresholds now, or I cannot give the detailed, the supervised learning logic now. But then we always have a process running that can convert from easy to medium or medium to hard. Again, I'm not sure if the question was answered, but
No, it was.
Okay, great.
Vishal, like we saw it in the demo, but just for the just to clear it, so is the rating later on then shared with the candidate?
No, we are not sharing the rating with the candidate. But again, if the culture of a startup is or a company is open, right? I mean, they can always download the report, for example, and share it with the candidate. But as of now, the report does not go to the candidate.
Okay.
Because sometimes what happens is that the interviewer can write, I mean, maybe there's some interviewers, for example, can will not sugarcoat anything in the feedback, right? Might put a lot of things in the feedback.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want the candidate to see it and get hurt, right? Or be demoralized. So we are not doing that. Yeah, but a organization, if it wishes to do so, can do it manually.
Sure. Also, Vishal, does the platform support evaluation of multiple candidates at once?
No, we don't do that. But we always have a suggestion. Whoever comes with such a request, we have a suggestion. So what we tell them is that, let's say, for example, they want to do a group interview or a group solution kind of thing, right? So always there is a possibility that our skills assessment platform can be used. There can be a group email created for a group of candidates, right? The group of candidates will work together on a hackathon type of a question. They will create the solution. They'll upload the question using our file upload question type on our skills assessment platform, right? That particular solution is reviewed by the interviewers, right? And then there is a certain weightage given to that group score, to the group solution. And then individual people from that group can be called for a live coding interview, where the rest of the weightage is given for the live interview sessions. And then combinedly, the selection or rejection can happen.
All right. Vishal, one last question. So how does the platform help in evaluating architects that might not be writing the code?
That's one of the most interesting questions I heard from different webinar. This was the first webinar on live coding interview, but when I went on client calls and everything, this was the first interesting question, the most interesting question, I would say. So as I said in the start of the discussion, the Q&A, right, there was a question on do we support sketchboarding, whiteboarding, for example. So we will have to wait for that feature. But then, whoever asked the question is right, that the coding editors, the coding question and everything would not be relevant for hiring an architect. For architect, would be mostly, we'll have to go into the whiteboarding, the sketchboarding solution. And then if there are clients, for example, that think there can be any other possibility that we should add to our platform to hire an architect, right? That also can be added as a future roadmap. But as of now, what I think is that a whiteboarding solution would be helpful to whoever asks that particular question.
All right. I think we just have enough time to squeeze one last question.
For sure, not an issue.
Yeah. In the live coding interview, how can we check the coding structure?
How do we check the coding structure? So by saying coding structure, what I understand is the code design.
Yeah.
Right. Of course you can do that, because again, the coding editor, the compile and run are actually compilers, right? So if the person or if the candidate has, let's say, reuse the function. So is he creating functions, for example? Is he writing everything at once in a one particular class, for example, or sorry, one particular file, or is using functions, internal functions, and then calling those internal functions from a multiple different places? How is this? So I'll talk about indentation also in the code structure. So the indentation of that, whether it's defining the variables at one particular place and then using the variables only after all the definitions have been done. So again, this is part of a code structure, right? Is it passing the right inputs to the functions that is creating, or is it unnecessarily creating more and more, I mean, additionally adding parameters which are not required? How is the reusability that is using? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can always check. The coding compiler itself is a compiler. It doesn't check the code structure, right? It's a roadmap. We are also having the code evaluation using SonarQube in our skills assessment platform, and the same thing is again an integration possibility with live coding interview platform, and we can always pass this thing to SonarQube to check the code quality, which includes the code structure, the other non-functional requirement aspects. Those can be checked. But again, guys, this is a sorry, Neha, this is a roadmap item. This is currently not supported in the platform.
All right. I think we have taken all the questions, Vishal. So thank you. That was a lovely demo and a good Q&A section.
Thanks to you, Neha. That was a good facilitation. And thanks to Devanshu, Amaya, and Nilesh for the good acting on the demo. Right? And thanks to all those lovely audience to ask these interesting questions. This will surely help us build the product and make it more stronger. Thank you, guys. And again, have a nice day or have a nice night as applicable, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, people. We'll be sending you the recording for this webinar, and we'll be also be sending you the link where you can post additional questions that you have regarding live coding interview, and we can take it forward from there. See you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe.